Hey, hello everyone. Welcome back to our channel Physics, where we actually learn physics. So we are into this series of lectures called as uses of the parallax method. Okay, so far we have seen two uses. Okay, in total, as we have categorized, there are four uses of parallax method. Yes, generally, if you see, parallax method is used to find out large distances. Okay, so over here we are doing the same thing. We are finding out the distances which are very large. Okay, using this parallax method. So I have talked about four uses. Okay, so far, and out of those four we have talked about two uses. Okay, out of those four we have talked about two uses. Now in this one we are going to talk about the third use of parallax method, and this use of parallax method is this one. Okay, over here in this video we are going to talk about how to find the size or diameter of the earth itself. If you remember, in the previous video we talked about how to find out the size or diameter of the moon, the sun, or any other planet in our solar system. In this one we are not going to find out the size of any other object but the earth itself. Okay, so this is going to be something very interesting. Okay, so in this lecture we will find out in details how do we actually do it, how do those people exactly do it. Okay, so it's very simple, it's very fun. Okay, and you will really enjoy it. You will really like the way people work actually in astronomy. Okay, so anyways, let's start with our lecture and let's see how exactly do we do it. Okay, now before I go any further in this video, I just want to talk a little bit about parallax method. Since we are gonna use parallax method over here, we are gonna require the knowledge of parallax phenomenon a little bit at least. Okay, so I have already made a video about that. Okay, where we have actually explained everything with experiment also. If you have seen it, it's very good. If you are not seen it, please go and check it. And even if you don't want to go, I'm just gonna tell you in short what is parallax. Okay, so if you know, you can just skip this next 2-3 minutes and just go to the main part. Otherwise you can just stick here and listen. Okay, so let's see what is this parallax. So if you see, for example, suppose you consider this finger. Okay, you can do the same thing what I am doing at your place. Consider this finger. Okay, this finger is right now in front of me. This is in front of me and I am right now observing it with my eyes. Now behind this finger there are some objects. I can call them as background objects. Okay, or we can say distant object. I can call this finger as a nearby object and the background objects as the distant objects. So here we have two types of objects. One is a nearby object and other is a background distant object. Okay, so for parallax we require one nearby object and other as a distant background object. Okay, so these two things are required. Okay, now do the same thing what I am doing here. Now keep this in front of you, just in front of you. Okay, and what you do is in your background, okay, in the background of this finger, choose some object. Choose any object that you want. There may be some lamp in front of you, or there may be a wall, and on the wall there may be some wall clock, some photo frame, something else. You can choose anything, any spot on the wall, anything. Okay, so in front of me right now I have this camera. Okay, so I can consider that camera as a distant object and this finger as a nearby object. Now what I'm going to do, just check over here. I am going to observe this finger through my both eyes but separately. First I will close this and observe it through the right eye. Then I am going to close this right eye and I'm going to observe through the left eye. And I do the same thing, okay, again and again. You can just do at your place, like this, like that, like this, like that. don't move your fingers, keep it as it is, distant object is there itself, okay, and just observe what happens. Okay, when you observe this finger through both of your eyes separately, you will find out that the position of this object apparently changes. Position of this finger, the nearby object, apparently changes with respect to the background object. Just do that fast, like this. You will find out the position changes, okay, here and there, here and there. Okay, so here we can observe one thing, that when we observe a nearby object, okay, when we observe a nearby object with respect to a distant background object from two different locations, then the position of the nearby object appears to change with respect to its background, isn't it? The position of the nearby object appears to change, okay, with respect to its background distant object when that object is viewed from two different locations or two different points of observations. Okay, so this phenomenon is called as a parallax. Okay, this is known as parallax. The apparent change in position of the nearby object with respect to the background object when it is viewed from two different locations, that is called as the parallax. Okay, so I hope you have done the same thing over there. Okay, now over here we are going to use this phenomenon in our experiment over here. Okay, over here, to find out the size of the earth. Okay, to find out the size of the earth, we are going to use this. Just check here what you require. First of all, you require a nearby object, you require a distant object, and you require 2 points of observations. That means 2 locations from which you can observe. Okay, see, in case of this earth and moon or this other astronomical objects, okay, other planets, etc. Okay, you cannot use just your 2 eyes as 2 different points of observations. No, you can't. That distance is very small. This is very small. So over there you won't observe any, okay, any parallax at all. So that's why we have to choose 2 different locations on the surface of the earth very far away, okay, to observe this parallax. Okay, so I hope this is clear what you require. You require a distant object, you require a nearby object, and you require 2 points of observations. Okay, so this is what we are gonna do over here in this. So here you can see I have drawn already one diagram. Okay, over here I will tell you what it is. We are finding out the size of the earth. Over here, this is the earth. Okay, so I will just write over here. Let's say this is the earth. Okay, let's say the diameter of this earth is capital D. Okay, let's say the diameter of the earth is capital D. Okay, now I require a distant object. If you have done the experiment right now, you must have observed that distant objects don't change their positions at all with respect to the nearby object. Okay, so we have to choose something here which will not change its position, which will appear to be in the same direction. You know, just like the sun, when you observe the sun in the evening, okay, in the evening when you observe it, you find that its position does not change even if you just walk for some miles, okay, or you are driving, you know, even if you move any distance ahead or back, anything, okay, left or right, back and forth, whatever distance you move, you find that the sun is in the same direction. Okay, if it is in this direction, even if I move here, it will still be in the same direction. Okay, so that is all because of the parallax. Okay, that is all because of the parallax. So distant objects don't change their positions. Okay, so this is the phenomenon, or this is the fact that we are going to utilize over here. So we are going to choose some object which is not going to change its position. Okay, definitely. So over here, in such a cases, in this case, what we do is we choose any star. We choose any particular star as our distant object. What will be a better choice than a star? Stars are very far and they don't change their positions at all, isn't it? So it's better to choose a star, any star that you can observe. So we are gonna choose star as our distant object. Now we also require what? A nearby object. So what we will do here is we will choose the moon. Okay, we will choose the moon as the nearby object. Okay, star is very far in comparison to this distance from the moon to the earth. Okay, star will be somewhere very far, so we don't need to care about that. We just have to observe it. Okay, so we have chosen this moon, okay, as a nearby object, star as a distant object, but we also require 2 points of observation. So what we do is we choose 2 diametrically opposite points on the surface of the earth. Okay, what we do is we choose the 2 diametrically opposite points on the surface of the earth, because we are finding out the diameter. Okay, we are finding the diameter, so that's why we will use the diametrically opposite points. Okay, so let's see now how exactly it is done. Okay, what is the simple procedure over here? Okay, so now what we do is over here, see, first of all we will go here. Okay, I mean, actually if I go with the research methodology, then actually at A and B, okay, at A and B 2 observatories are built. Okay, at these 2 locations observatories have to be built with a very strong telescopes in it, very powerful telescopes in it. Okay, the telescope which can observe distant objects also. Okay, so over here we have 2 observatories set up, and the 2 observatories work simultaneously. They do their work simultaneously. Okay, they are communicating each other actually. Okay, so what they do is they take the readings, they do the experiment, they perform the experiment at the same time simultaneously. Okay, so let's say that we have 2 observatories here. Okay, and the 2 observatories are observing these events or these objects over here. Okay, so the first step over here is, both observatories, that is A and B, okay, both observatories A and B focus on the same star, same chosen star, we can say. Whichever star we have chosen, we will focus on that only. Okay, now this is first step. Okay, so over here you can see this point and this point, 2 telescopes, they are all focusing on the same star. Okay, so here is a star and here is the same star. Now you might just say, how can we have the same star, okay, at 2 locations? How can we have the same star at the 2 locations? It's not like that. See, as I told you, in the parallax method, what happens? The distant object appears in the same direction. So for a person over here, the star is in this direction, and for the person here also, the star is in the same direction. Just like, you know, we see the sun. Even if you move here a little, okay, you find the sun in the same direction. So same over here is happening. You move here or here, the very far star, okay, the very far star appears in the same direction to both of these observatories. They find the star in the same direction. So it's just the same star that you are seeing here. Okay, so now first step is done. Both of them are focusing on the same star, okay, from their own locations. Now we move to the second step. In the second step, what we do is, first of all, see, we have chosen this moon as a nearby object, right? We have chosen this moon as a nearby object. So over here, what we do is, first of all, both of these observatories decide a particular spot. They decide a particular spot or particular location on the surface of the moon. Okay, so let's say that point has been chosen. Let's say this is the point. Okay, let's call this point as point M for moon. Okay, let's say we have chosen one location, one spot on the surface of the moon. And now what we do is, we are already observing this star. Now we just rotate our telescope a little bit, and now we focus on that chosen point, chosen location. Okay, so here we go. We are going to choose. Okay, we are going to actually focus over here. Okay, so I will just draw these lines, something like this. Okay, something like this, and same from here. Okay, same from here. Okay, so you can see here what we have done. From both of these locations, we have just rotated a little bit. We have just rotated the telescope a little bit. Let's say the angle over here is theta 1. The angle over here is theta 2. Okay, so we can just see that this angle is theta 1, this angle is theta 2. Now the second step is what? Rotating. Okay, rotate the telescope See, instead of a moon, you can choose another planet also. But since moon is, easily visible to us, so it's better that we choose this moon also. Moon actually. Okay. So, chosen spot on the moon. Okay. We have focused now. Okay. Now, third step would be note down these angles. Theta 1 and theta 2. Okay. Note down theta 1 and theta 2. Okay. At location A and B respectively. Okay, that is our third step. Okay, so now we have rotated. Now once we note down these angles carefully, see, it should be very careful, huh? This is not as easy as it appears. Okay, we have to be very, very, very careful. Okay, because handling such a strong, such a powerful, such a large telescopes is not as easy as it seems. Okay, so we have to be very precise, we have to be very careful with all those experiments, all those equipments, all those instruments, with all the manpower over there. Okay, we have to be very careful. So we will note down these two, and once we note down these two angles, that's it. Our job is done. Okay, our job is done. Okay, so in this way our experiment is done now. Now what remains is the calculation part. Okay, what remains is a calculation part only. So over here, just look at this diagram. You can see the star first of all is in this direction. You can observe here this line AS, okay, and this line DM. Okay, this one, not DM, actually the D is the diameter. Let's call this point O, the center of the earth. So this line OM, okay, and this line AS, they are parallel to one another, and you can see here this line is joined in between them to the parallel lines. So that means what? According to the properties, since this angle is theta 1, this angle must also be theta 1, according to the properties that you already know. Actually you have already learned in 9th and 10th. Okay, so and when we go here, this line and this line is again parallel. So we can see if this angle is theta 2, this angle also has to be theta 2. So the total angle, okay, over here is, let us say it is theta. Okay, let us say the total angle is theta. So total angle theta would be equal to theta 1 plus theta 2. Okay, so that's it. We have got this angle, isn't it? We have got this angle. Also remember over here, when you are finding this size of the earth, the diameter of the earth, this distance should be known to us already. The distance from the earth to the moon. Then only we can find out this D. So let's say the distance is small d. Okay, let's say this distance from Earth to the moon is small d. Okay, so now we have a clear picture over here. I will just draw the important part over here. You can see we have this triangle. You can see something like this. Okay, here we have two locations, A and B. So here is A and here is B. Here is a location M for moon. Okay, and here is an angle theta. Here is a diameter d, right? Here is a diameter d, and here is a distance small d. This is small d. Okay, so using this figure we can actually find out capital D, which we are actually trying to find. So it's very simple. What we do is we move to the fourth step. Okay, that is using the definition of plane angle. Using the definition of plane angle. Okay, as we all know the definition of plane angle. Okay, see, plane angle is defined like this. Theta is equal to this opposite upon this adjacent. Okay, opposite upon this adjacent. Again, I would tell you that this definition works only when this distance is very small in comparison to this distance. Okay, diameter should be very small in comparison to this one. Okay, then only we can actually use this definition of plane angle. Otherwise we have to go for that tan theta. Okay, that we have to use that trigonometric formula for tan theta. Okay, so we are not going into that right now. We can also go into that if you want, but I don't think it is required, and I don't think we need to go into that because generally these distances are very large and this is small in comparison to this. That's why we don't need to go into that. We can just use this method, this formula. Now what we want is the size, the diameter, isn't it? We wanted this diameter. So here is the diameter. So what we will do is we will just switch. Okay, switch the terms on other side. I can just write theta into d, right? We have got this diameter, isn't it? You can check here. We have got this. We have just found out the theta. We know this small d, isn't it? That's it. Just multiply them. Only thing is this theta should be in radian. That is the SI unit. So when you will do the experiment, you will get these angles in either degree or maybe in minute or in second. Okay, generally they are in minutes or seconds generally. Okay, so once you get these numbers in minutes, let's say, so first convert them to radians. Okay, SI unit, there is a conversion factor. I have talked about that also in my previous lectures. You can check that also, conversion factors. Okay, so just convert this to radian and just put the value over here. That's it. Your job is done. And in this way you have actually got, okay, you have actually got this, the diameter of the earth, which is what you are looking for so far. Okay, so this is how we do it actually. Okay, this is how we do the experiment. Okay, this is the way people do the experiment. Okay, so I hope this is pretty clear. This is very well understood to everyone. Okay, if not, again you can ask in the comment section. Okay, but I hope this is very clear. It's not that hard actually. Yes, practically if you go, it's very hard. I mean hard in the sense it requires a lot of work practically. Okay, but yeah, theoretically it's not that hard actually. You can see just a small formula. Okay, just few things to know here. Okay, what is there? Two diametrically opposite locations, two observatories built with telescopes, powerful telescopes. First we observe the distant star, then we just rotate a little bit and we focus on the chosen spot on the moon. That's it. We note down these angles. From the property of these lines, we can say here that this is theta 1, then this is also theta 1, this is theta 2, so this is also theta 2, and the total angle is, let's say, theta, which is equal to theta 1 plus theta 2. That's it. Finish. Okay, we must know this distance already, then only we can find out the d, that is the diameter of the earth, using these formulas. That's it. Okay, so same diagram I have drawn over there also. Okay, so that is it. It's very easy, theoretically at least. Okay, so I hope this is very clear to all of you. Okay, if not, again I'm telling you, you can ask. Okay, but I think this is it for right now. So for now I should say bye bye. See you in the next video. Okay, have a nice day. Bye bye.